Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and it is time to get another section of my Heaven and Earth design done. So we are working on mini beautiful lights, trying to work out where we are, around here ish. So we've still got quite a way to go, but I do feel like it's getting done. So I have my section open. Looks like we have quite a few sort of blocky bits today, which is always good. Not quite at the point where I have to roll my canvas to be able to get it to work, but so I'm working with the purple Zesty Galaxy tray today with our matching-ish purple metal pen, because we did end up doing more of these than originally planned because I can't count. So I made a mistake with the counting for last month's launch, and I don't like disappointing anybody, so I ended up ordering another roll of filament, which in turn means I ended up printing more, which is never necessarily a bad thing with purple, because it is always a very popular colour choice. So I thought, let's use this while we have some of them left at the moment, or at the point of filming this, we do anyway. But yeah, also to let you know a couple of things. There was two things. I definitely had two things in my head. I just can't remember what both of them were. I know one of them was the super silly sale that we have had on. I've done a blog post on sort of explaining it, but that does end on Monday. So at some point on Monday, everything will go back to regular price. So get your orders in before Sunday to be able to secure the stupid prices that we have put, mainly because of our error, and yeah, just helping us with space as well, primarily. So that was one. What was the other one? Oh, that was the other one. I remember the other one, and it was the one I was going to say first. June waffle. So I know it's a little bit early necessarily to be full on talking June waffle, but I have put a post up in the Facebook group. I'm going to do June waffle just a little bit differently this year. We're still going to have a WIP and waffle a day over the month of June. But instead of going through comments and questions that have been left on previous WIP and waffles, I'm going to be doing it as sort of more of a standalone, and I'm going to be answering your questions that you have all put in that thread on Facebook, or on that post on Facebook. So if you have any questions, do please go and bob them over there. I have 30 days to waffle my way through. So I would appreciate any and all questions. It just means then that people can watch it as well as a little bit more of a standalone, and not feel as though, you know, it's continuing on from previous ones. It'd be a bit more of a standalone WIP and waffle that can be listened to at any point. So yeah, I'm doing that. I am also doing two unboxings coming up. One on Friday, tomorrow, and one on Monday, the following Monday. I've got 2 diamond paintings to unbox, and one of them I am going to do for June Waffle. So do let me know your thoughts on them, on which ones you like once they're both up. I may do a mini poll or something. I'll have to see how's best to sort of do that to get the decision made. But yeah, I'm trying to get myself prepared with that. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I think that's all the updates. They were the 2 main updates that I wanted to let you all know. So to go on to comments etc. from previous WIP and Waffles, most of these starting off are actually from last Thursday's WIP and Waffle to start off with. But Doro be punked. Oh, she said she got sick last Thursday. She said she had a fever until Sunday and didn't feel well at all. Oh, it's so horrid when you end up feeling unwell, isn't it? Even more so if you can't like sleep it off. But even so, it's lousy to just sort of be stopped dead in your tracks and told, go to bed. Yeah, it's not a good feeling at all. She says she's been a bit better since Monday and she can work again. She says, but she is still trying to take it easy, which, yes, it takes the body a lot longer to recover from being ill than I think many of us realise, myself included. You know, as soon as you start to feel better, you just want to get back at life, get back at living your life and doing your thing. And sometimes your body needs a little bit longer to catch up with you. That's for sure. She says this flu is mean. She says, and everyone in her family has been ill. She says one after the other. Oh no. She says starting with her nephews. She says yesterday she finally did some diamond painting. Woohoo! Woohoo for the recovery craft. She says she's still making at least some progress on her current lions painting. But the last row, she says, seems to drag a little bit longer. Yeah, sometimes the last row of a diamond painting, depending on how the diamond painting has been while you've been doing it, I find sometimes it either drags or it just goes really quick and you just end up doing it faster. But then again, because you've not felt well, you're probably also not having that sort of speed diamond painting session the same way that you may have done otherwise. Megan is currently working, or she was just before I came in here, currently working on her diamond painting. It's made it to her list this end of term, her Easter holidays. It has made it to her list of what she would like to get completed. I know she's wanting to do, I don't know if it's going to be the one she next kits up, but I know she wants to do Spookmas. She's actually quite excited. She was going to use, which is a chart to art from Diamond Art Studio. She was going to use my tablet to put the charts onto, but one of the gifts that was around for Christmas bingo was actually a Kindle Fire tablet, and the person who won it, my brother-in-law, already had one, so he offered it out to the masses and Megan pinched it. She's got Pattern Keeper on it already, so she's all lined up for it. So I think she's definitely wanting to start that one next, but we'll see whether that happens anytime in the future. Because she does still have a couple of rows to do, and when she got it out today, she said, oh, I'm further on than I thought. I think it also takes her longer than she thinks. Okay, how many did I get done then? 4 rows of it. So I've got 3 more to go. Let me just put that, put those 3 there, and then I can read out the next one without thinking as much. So Grey Legrand, she says hitting pause. She says hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says she wasn't sure if I knew what freezing rain was. She says freezing rain, she says, occurs when a layer of freezing air is so thin that the raindrops do not have enough time to freeze before reaching the ground. She said instead, the water freezes on contact with the surface, creating a coating of ice on whatever the raindrop contacts with. She says which can break trees, branches, and bring down power lines. That sounds absolutely horrific. Sounds awful. She says for some reason, she says they get more freezing rain and sleet here in NC, USA. What does NC stand for? North Carolina, is that? She says than snow. She says it's pretty, but it's disruptive. Many things that are pretty are disruptive. Nature-wise, for sure, many pretty things have a hidden undertone, should we say. But yeah, I think you're due some nice spring weather for sure, because I've been absolutely loving the past couple of weeks here, and the nice weather that we've had. It's been so much nicer than the miserable weather we've had in the past, that's for sure. Right, of course, I'm now, oh, here we go. Oh, that's all right. It's ended up on one of the crosses, sort of the beginning of one section and the end of another, which makes it a little bit easier to figure out where it needs to go. And then that one's 3 down and 3 up. Some of these are scattered and some of them there's quite a nice sort of big chunk of them. Liv, she says hi Zesties and Rebecca. She says she will definitely use double-sided tape to fix her pen tips. She says as they do have a tendency to fall out. And yeah, double-sided tape is absolutely fantastic for it. A roll of double-sided tape will last you so long if all you're doing is fixing pen tips, because it is amazing how small a piece you actually need to make it work. It's a really, really small amount. She says she was trying to find her glue dots, she said the other day, as her putty was just falling out of the tip. She says she found her glue strips, she says, which she used used a dot of instead, she says, and that worked. Yeah, glue strips are the same sort of concept. They're the same stuff as glue dots. The difference is the strips can be easier if you want to use them in a multi-placer. Just because, of course, they are long. It just saves you having to put in multiple dots and trying to get those to connect together so that you can use them in your multi-placers. But if you only want to pick up one but want to use them for both purposes, then you can just cut off a small amount of a glue strip and it can be just like a glue dot. if that's helpful. She also says, she's had a lovely couple of weeks off, which is always good. Holiday is revitalising. Need to book myself one in, I think. I think I'm long overdue. She says, but going back to work, she says, does take its toll. Hopefully, she says, all being well, she can soon drop her days. She says, as full-time work, she says, is mega exhausting. Especially, she says, when neurodivergent too. She says burnout and exhaustion, she says, are not a good combination. She says she did get some diamond painting time in, though, she says, which was good. Hopefully, she says she'll be able to work through her stash a bit more once her days are reduced. She says she loses track of time when she's in the den. You're in the diamond painting zone and you just lose track of time while you're there. I completely get that. Last night I ended up going to bed late because I got completely sidetracked working on Cyril the Squirrel. He is coming along nicely. I got a really good... I seem to find at the moment that I'm not able to diamond paint for an hour or two each night like I used to, partly because it's bright and it's sunny and the day just seems to go on for a little bit longer, and I get sidetracked doing other projects and things that we're working on in the background. I get caught up, but when I do sit and diamond paint, which now only tends to be once, maybe twice a week, I seem to find I'm diamond painting for a lot longer. Maybe it's just because I'm trying to catch up my diamond painting time. And yeah, I end up getting quite a bit done when I do. Probably, you know, what I potentially would get done if I spread it out over my regular sort of time. It just means I end up going to bed later every now and then. But that's okay. Because even if I go to bed, it doesn't mean I'm going to fall asleep. So we just make it work. Carrie, she says, wow, she says, this Heaven and Earth design is looking beautiful. Thank you. I'm really, really happy with how it's coming out. It's looking so nice. I feel like I am quite a bit past the point that I originally was when I first started doing this and then decided to get all the diamonds for it. So I feel like we're definitely on new, fresh territory now. It does help that I am doing at least one section off camera. Sometimes that doesn't always fit in nicely with my day, but I do find if I leave it out until that section is done, then it does at least get done, which means, say, there is progress on it, which is the main thing that this needs. And I think it just works so much better if there's progress. She says yesterday, she says here in Duluth, Minnesota, she says, we had a wonderful, she says sarcasm, wonderful spring-winter storm, she says, which brought them a few inches of snow. Goodness me, snow should be banned at this time of year. She says she did post a picture in the group, which I had a look. It is looked absolutely beautiful. But hopefully it was that snow that arrived and was gone by morning, because as beautiful as it is completely the wrong time of year for snow, and it needs to do one. It needs to just go away and learn what time of year it is welcome and what time of year it is not. And the answer is not at the moment. Right. Do you know what? I'm actually going to jump to 799. It's a darker one. It's got quite a light symbol, but it's actually annoying me. All these gaps that I can see need to be this darker one. So I'm going to do a little hop, skip and a jump today. It kind of works for this one, or at least it does in my head, before I get on to these lighter colours, which will sort of start filling in the rest. What do we want now? Bottom one. Sorry, it's very scattered, this one as well, which is why I kind of feel like I want to fill them all in. Fill in all these little gaps before I start doing the rest. A bit like what I do with a big painting. If it starts getting too many gaps here and there, it annoys me. So let's get rid of the gaps and then let's go back to 762. Carrie also says, she says she's having a hard time getting the motivation to work on her current WIP. She says partially because it's a lot of dark, including 310. She says, but partially because she's been doing a lot of other things. So she's been doing latch hook, drawing and reading. Well, sometimes other hobbies do sort of grab your interest a little bit more than others. I do find, you know, winter nights, I love sitting and diamond painting in winter nights. That's also the time I enjoy when I was doing cross stitch as well. Cross stitch is always easier to do when it's winter, in my opinion, than in the summer. Don't know why. It's more of a cozy craft. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe in my head they're more of a cozy craft than anything else. So yeah, I always find those easier to do in winter. In summer, I find I'm doing a lot more, so much active, is it active? Just more doing things, more up and about and things like that. I find just cut into my evening a lot more. I think my day just morphs into my evening a little bit more than it would do otherwise, because it's brighter. So I'm more than happy to sort of carry things on for longer instead of thinking, oh, it's dark, I now want to sit down and cozy up. Right, hang on, sorry. I feel like this section now is getting a bit all over the place. I need to sort of get in some sort of pattern so that I don't muck up where I'm finishing up on this number. If I can get hold of the diamonds. Right, that's that one. Brenda, she says, Zesty, she says, please let that person know. She says that she would like to help. She says she has some diamond paintings if they need any more. So there was a lady, we did a comment, it will have been last Thursday's WIP and chats, where there was a lady who was struggling to buy any diamond paintings and she'd been sent some. So Brenda would like to help out if possible. So do comment on her post, her comment on last week's Heaven and Earth design, and see if you can sort of reach out between you. But yeah, she would love to help out with getting you or passing on some diamond painting, so that you have some to do while you are tackling down your debt. She says you know how hard things can get. So such an amazing community just to help out with those, you know, what may seem like little things, but can really make such a big difference to people. And it's lovely to see that this person has had some help in what is a hard time in their life, and you know, is a tough thing that they need to, with, I suppose most of us have been through it at some point, some worse than others. But yeah, just knowing that there is help and then can work towards the light at the end of the tunnel, while still getting some diamond painting time, which is quite often essential as a bit of a pick-me-up when you're going through things like that. Aaliyah, she says, yesterday was rough with her mental health. She's feeling very low today. Oh dear. I do hope you're feeling better soon. I know things can definitely have ups and downs, and the downs can quite often knock us for six. So I really hope that things are better. Today I'm perking up. It's nearly Easter holidays, if you're not already on Easter holidays. Catherine's already on Easter holidays, but I know not all unis follow the same. So hopefully a bit of downtime from uni, a bit of time at home, will help you feel loads better. Amanda, she says, hey Rebecca and Zesties. She says, this painting is looking great. Thank you. It's really coming along now. We can start to see the woman in the picture and not just the birds. Not just the birds. We're actually starting to see things come to life a bit more. She says she needs to look into trying a chart to art. Yes, you do. They are so much fun. So much fun. I absolutely love doing them. And I'm kind of hoping that I can get a few more evenings in on Cyril the Squirrel, because then I can pull out my floral chart to art for a bit, and do a few more sections before I then move on to whatever my next painting will be. Right, seems like we're doing this in two halves. We now have a big block of white. She says she's been slowly working on her first quilt. Awesome, another new quilter. See, quilting is more of my doing hobby, like even the sewing while it's relaxing. It's more of my daytime hobby, which is why I tend to do it at the weekend. Whereas diamond painting is more my switch off hobby. When I'm trying to switch my brain off, that's when I diamond paint. So they do both work together. I feel like if I'm in the mood to do something, diamond painting isn't always the thing. But when I'm still wanting to, I'm always somebody who needs to be doing something. Whether it uses my brain or not is a completely different matter, but I always need to be doing something. So when my body gets weary, then sitting and diamond painting ticks the doing box, but allows me to chill with it. She says what's funny, she says, is she has 2 sewing machines. She says neither are set up yet. She says due to the den not being set up for her crafting space. Oh, so she's been hand sewing the squares together. Oh my goodness me. There is something nice about hand sewing though. I don't do a lot of it. I do have some English paper piecing stuff, but I've not quite decided what my end goal is. So I've not started it, but I did get a few little bits to get me going for Christmas. I just need to figure out what it is that I want to do, and then I can start messing. But yeah, I absolutely love like hand sewing the binding. It's one of my most favourite parts of the quilts. Even though machine sewing it would be a lot quicker, nah, I love to just sit there and hand sew it all on. So hand sewing is very therapeutic. Whether I would hand sew a whole quilt together though, I don't know. I think that's what's making me think my English paper piecing, I need to work on something that's a little bit smaller for that. She says she's just being too lazy to iron them, she says, and putting them all together. She says, happy crafting, everyone. The ironing stage can sometimes, depending on what you're working on, be extremely tedious. I must admit, what has helped me is I have a little tiny like cry cut iron. It was actually purchased for the shop until we got a bigger one. And we do still occasionally use it in the shop, but I have basically pinched it, and you know, if the shop needs it for whatever project, then I'll take it back. But at the moment it's not heavily used, and I find that is the only thing that enables me to keep on top of ironing all the pieces, is the fact that it's a small iron. I have a wool pressing mat, and I just use that. The only time I need to get the ironing board out and the big iron is when I have finished, and it's like you're doing the full quilt top and ironing the backing, or sometimes I get it out when I'm ironing fabric before cutting. Again, it sort of depends on the size of it, but like, I know my next quilt I think I want to work on is one using some fat quarters, so I'll probably get my ironing board out to iron those all flat before cutting, because they're folded a lot more than yardage. But yeah, the ironing part can be tedious, but having that smaller iron and that tiny iron station or pressing mat, which means I can sit where I am sitting sewing anyway and iron them, has definitely made it much easier to do. If I had to get the ironing board out, I'd probably still be about 6 quilts behind because it's just tedious otherwise. Queen Bee Rachel, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says she's watching this while getting ready for a wedding. Ooh, very nice. She says she's wrapping the present that her partner and herself got them while getting, which arrived yesterday. She says she hopes that I have enough time to diamond paint. She has enough time to diamond paint before they leave. She says she hopes you all have a lovely weekend, and I hope you had an amazing time at the wedding and got your diamond painting in. Always good to be able to tick both wishes off your list, should we say. But yeah, sounds fun. Janita, she says, hey Rebecca and Zesties. She says she hopes that I had a great Mother's Day, which I did, thank you. She says, update to the freezing rain. She says trees were snapping off, oops, from the weight of the ice. She says it is the worst ice storm in 20 years. She said it was so scary in the dark and them hitting the house. Ooh. She says they had no hydro for a couple of days as the trees fell on the power line. She says the house was so cold, which I can imagine. She says great hydro workers. She says working in the storm again to get them hydro again. She says some are still out. Oh, weather can be so mean and nasty. And yeah, it's just, I don't understand half of it, to be honest. I really don't. I just know it can be mean, which is not necessarily a good thing. Right, that is today's section done. I feel like we used all the colours. We did definitely use all the colours, but I do think that went quicker because of the straight lines, or because of the amount of sort of, you know, they were all sort of congregated in one place. Will be interesting to see if I got a little bit more scattered, not a huge amount more scattered next time. And then the time after that, oh, that's a lot more scattered. If we come off the white, it's definitely a lot more scattering of all the other colours. So that should be quite interesting to do next time. But if I line that up there, then I'm ready to get my next section done at some point. Not yet, but it will be done before this is popped away in its tube. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me for today's WIP and Waffle. There will be another WIP and Waffle on Sunday, where I am working on Cyril the Squirrel. We'll see how far I've got by the time I film that. Oh, and do stay tuned for those unboxings. First one is a sneak peek. It is coming tomorrow, and then there'll be another sneak peek on Monday, and then I need help in deciding which one to do. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.